Well, thank you very much for your patience. For the ones who joined us a bit later than the official beginning of the webinar, now welcome to panel session with Giant and Amisec regarding RPA in cybersecurity. Today we're having a 45 busy minutes when we're speaking about cybersecurity and innovation, a technology. Now, first of all, I would like to mention that we're having a very vast expert team today over here. Now, this panel session will be dedicated to the most common questions and tricky parts of cybersecurity in automation. However, please keep in mind that we will remain not just a few minutes, maybe up to 10 minutes maximum for your questions at the end of the panel. So, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today. Now, talking about attendees of the webinar, I see that we're having a really nice global group of participants. My colleagues are assisting me and saying that currently the latest news that we're having that over 330 participants registered for this webinar. So we will see how many of them will join us today. Now, speaking about geography, I am very glad to mention that today we're having a real international audience gathered over here. I'm having just a short list now of different corners of this world now where our participants of the webinar are coming from. I will mention a few of them, and of course the registration list is changing rapidly, so in case you will not hear your city now in the list, just please feel free to share it in comments. So today we're having people who are joining us from London, Warsaw, Pune, Bangalore, Ankara, Lagos, Zurich, Dubai, Brussels, Madrid, Manchester, Phoenix, Frisco in Texas, Abu Dhabi, Dublin, now Anand, Miami, Mumbai, Delhi, Singapore, Bangkok, Houston, Moscow, Chennai, Prague, Cairo, Istanbul, Dhaka, San Jose, New York, Astana, Johannesburg, Doha, Paris, Bucharest, Tehran, Bogota, and Chesterfield. So if you didn't hear your city, just feel free to add your location in calendar. But there is also another much smaller group of people on the other side of the screen. Of course, those are our robotic process automation and cybersecurity top experts from the market. I am very excited that we were able to gather such a strong team of experts today. So, gentlemen, now thank you very much indeed for joining us today for this panel session. And of course, please feel free to introduce yourself, say just a couple of words about who you are and where you are coming from.
Thanks, Anastasia. This is Celestine with Amisec, heading the intelligent automation practice globally with our primary focus in North American region and the Middle East. Here's a quick overview of Amisec. As such, we are an IT service provider. We provide digital solutions and services and workforce solutions. Intelligent automation and cybersecurity are our core business. Apart from that, we have cybersecurity assessment platform called Artemis. With me, I have my colleagues from the cybersecurity side of the house. Over to you.
Thank you, Celestine. Thank you, Anastasia. I'm really excited to join the webinar today. My name is Rupam Bhattacharya. I'm heading the products and services from the offensive security part of cybersecurity in Amisec. And I have also worked on developing the product called Artemis, which works as a application security correlation and lifecycle management platform. I'm really excited to talk on vulnerability management today, and I'm looking forward to the questions.
Hello, everyone. This is Moiz. I had cybersecurity vertical at Amisec. I come with 17 plus years of experience in this field and have worked with multiple geographical territories. Amisec is enterprise marketplace with many cybersecurity solutions. So looking forward for your questions and assist you to my best.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for this introduction. Let me also introduce myself. My name is Anastasia, and I'm representing the host of the webinar, a company which is called Giant. I'm acting as a global Strategic Partnerships Director at Giant, which is an RPA vendor, which means that over here in this company, we are developing one of the world's fastest growing RPA technology. And of course, we know by experience the way how robots and human beings are able to work shoulder by shoulder together. So today my main goal is to be the host for our great experts, and of course to challenge them as much as possible regarding the most demanded questions in cybersecurity. But before we begin, let me briefly explain you what to expect from today's session, and also tell you briefly about a couple of rules for this event that we're having. First of all, I know that we're having a very vast audience. We have both technical people and business people. So today we will try to use very simple, non-technical language so that everybody in the audience now are on the same page. Now, on top of that, during the webinar, please feel free to address your questions. We're having the chat window now, which is open all the time for you, dear participants. We're also having the chat administrator who will be in charge of speaking to you and resolving your issues during the webinar. But if you would like to speak to our experts directly today during this event, please wait till the very end of the webinar. We will have 10 minutes now, which we will dedicate only to Q&A session between experts and participants. And on top of that, for the ones of you who are staying till the very end now of the webinar, both of our sites, both Amisec and Giant, we prepared special bonuses for the webinar participants. And of course, we will be able to share our presents and bonuses with you at the very end of this session. Excellent. I think we are ready to begin. And of course, speaking about such a demanded, but also quite mysterious topic on the market as innovation tech, robotic process automation, and cybersecurity, it is important to mention that right now, currently, is market at a very fast growing stage, and according to Gartner, by the end of 2022, over than 85% of enterprises globally at some point will onboard robotic process automation as one of the leading technologies in their companies. Now, of course, speaking about RPA as a technology, we know that this kind of innovation tech can resolve many business process problems and help us to accelerate business processes, to optimize the return of investment, and in fact, automating manual processes with software robots can improve company productivity, reduce errors, boost revenues, and deliver a wide range of different additional business and technical benefits. Now, one of the most compelling and important applications of robotic process automations, aka RPA, however, is within the area of cybersecurity. It's not a secret that cybersecurity threats have grown dramatically in volume, diversity, and the consequence in the recent years, especially in this pandemic, post-pandemic financial crisis times globally. Now, for example, we are Giants as a vendor who are located in Central Europe. We're also very much, I would say, pressed by current RODO and GDPR terms. So cybersecurity is a very painful subject for many businesses currently. Most organizations, for example, would prefer to have humans making the decision to shut down, for example, the mission critical but potentially compromised server rather than having an AI-based security control automatically take it off. Given that people will continue to have roles to play in cybersecurity defense scenarios, because by the end of the day, none of the business processes can be done without the human touch, then it rather makes sense to make their involvement as efficient and effective as possible using RPA. And this is exactly where RPA can bring significant benefits by automating many of the manual processes those professionals they're still using. Now, while allowing them with their own knowledge, using their own knowledge and insights in critical cybersecurity incidents. Well, colleagues, I would rather state that many cybersecurity automation questions are still quite mysterious for many businesses on the market. But speaking about your precise experience in cybersecurity, could you tell us just a little bit more about Amisec and your cybersecurity sector global experience that you're currently having?
Thank you, Anastasia. So Amisec, as Celestine already said, is a very specialized service provider dedicated to RPA and cybersecurity. And Amisec cybersecurity team has vast experience of managing vulnerabilities and providing security assurance to large organizations. Uh, with that experience in mind, we also created a platform called Artemis, which actually provides a lot of automation in management of the whole vulnerability management life cycle. And that's where we found areas where our customers are looking for automation, which is beyond the automation provided by APIs. That's where we are partnering with RPA vendors to help organizations achieve those automation requirements. I would like to share some statistics before we jump into cybersecurity topics. Uh, the statistics are more view of how the state of cybersecurity is in a lot of these organizations that we are working with. So we have seen from studies done by Bitdefender that 1 in 5 organizations do not do vulnerability testing or vulnerability scanning, and they don't know if they have a vulnerability. And from the same study, we also identified that 76% of these organizations at least have one vulnerability. And most of the attacks happen, which is 60% of the attacks happen because of the vulnerabilities being unpatched. And the focus now is shifting from identifying the vulnerabilities to fixing the vulnerabilities, which is where we are seeing most of the cybersecurity attacks happening. So I would like to focus today's vulnerability management topic on the areas that are less served by APIs, and I will talk those in more detail in the coming questions that we will discuss.
Well, thank you very much indeed for this introduction. It was extremely helpful to understand what would be the core focus of this discussion. Now, and of course, speaking about those many problematic areas that you've mentioned, do you really think that RPA as a technology can become a significant trend in the modern cybersecurity industry?
I will talk about that in terms of vulnerability management, and then I will invite my colleague Moise to talk about the threat incident management part of it. So from the vulnerability management perspective, the biggest challenge that the organization is facing is lack of skilled resources or lack of skilled employees who can manage this, who can actually work on the manual activities that are still not automated. Right? We have seen some APIs being driven by the vendors. However, there is still huge crunch of time when it comes to remediation, right? When it comes to fixing the vulnerabilities and when it comes to doing cybersecurity configuration changes to make sure that systems are hardened. And that's where, with the fact that these weaknesses are there and the cybersecurity attacks are increasing, like we have seen that after COVID, the cybersecurity attacks have increased by 600%, right? So with this in mind, we are seeing a lot of potential for RPA to come into these areas and help organizations achieve their goals. After you, Moise, about incident management.
Sure. Thank you, Rupam. So, yeah, talking about vulnerability or let's say about the incident management, these are the threats any organization will have it, or they are already sitting on such threats which they have gone unnoticed from the human eye. Obviously, this is where we human lack. Due to this reason, we rely on RPA. That is what I would say. And with the help of RPA, we can convert all these incidents into the action, and again at the right time, and with the 100% accuracy. And this is where we can, boost overall cybersecurity posture of any organization in this world. Again, we at Amiviz Amisec and our collaboration with our Artemis helps organization to achieve these goals by reducing their time to action from the days to minutes, obviously, and to secure their cybersecurity posture by multiple folds. And probably we'll discuss this further in this session. Over to you, Anastasia.
Well, Moise, thank you very much indeed for this clarification. But in my opinion, this is only the additional statement that currently global business is having many threats in terms of cyber security area. But if we're coming straight to the point, how do you think, colleagues, what are actually the biggest pain points in cybersecurity sector nowadays that you can name, and how exactly RPA can help handling those difficulties for businesses?
You said it right. There are a lot of new vulnerabilities, and organizations have a big challenge of actually identifying the vulnerabilities. But a lot of it is already has been work in progress for a long time, and there are very established vendors in the market who help you identify the vulnerabilities. Now the onus comes back to the organization, where they have to take those vulnerabilities and fix them, because just knowing about your vulnerabilities is not enough. You have to patch your system. So that's where we are seeing the biggest pain point, where you have to do a lot of manual remediation. You have to do a lot of you have to get into human involvement, where there could be errors or where there could be repeated activities which typically humans don't enjoy, right? So that's where we are seeing the biggest pain point. And due to these areas where there is not much help from the vendor, we see a lot of potential of RPA where we can help the organization achieve their goals in these areas. Over to you, Moise.
Sure. That was really nicely put on, Rupam, and I agree to it. And again, from my point of view, when it comes to IR, as I said before, taking a right action at the right time with 100% accuracy, that is the essence of work. What we look for, we get an incident and we cannot sit on it, and because as the time delays or as we give more time to it, it gives a bigger exposure of the risk and it can compromise an organization. And this is where we human fail, and this is a normal tendency of any human in that matter, because this is a 24/7 job. When and a particular analyst is doing, obviously he will be in the shift, and missing out a single alert is the key to the success for the actors. And this is where they get into the organization, and that's the disaster what we call off. And I would say this is where the RPA will surely help us and take to the next stage. Anastasia, over to you again.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for those comments. I think we are facing many threats on the market, but maybe let's focus also on the resolution of the threats. By the end of the day, today we're speaking about robotic process automation as an innovation tech that helps us to overcome those difficulties on the market. So speaking about RPA software features and capabilities, how do you think they will be able to overcome those pain points that you just mentioned?
Yeah, what I said in the past, to add to that, most of the organizations, like 90% of the organizations, take at least 6 months to fix a vulnerability, right? And this is very alarming, because, and there are many reasons for that. Most of the reasons are pertaining to the fact that there is very less support from established vendors to do patching, to do remediation, and organizations are scrambling to hire experts to do these activities manually. However, what we have done for some organizations is create a process around it, bring RPA in the areas where there is missing APIs, and remove the manual activities as much as possible. Where there are repeated activities, put bots there, and make sure patching and configuration changes are happening on a regular basis. So what happens with Artemis into picture and with the whole life cycle, you identify the vulnerabilities, you make sure you prioritize it, and then your RPA can pick up the most important vulnerabilities that needs to be fixed and do the most common fixes like software upgrade, software patching, and configuration changes without any human involvement. And that's where our capabilities can help overcome the pain that organizations are facing. Over to you, Moise.
Sure. So again, from my point of view, RPA can help automatically triage alerts, identify real incidents. Obviously, getting so many alerts, you need to identify the real alerts, and this is where it will help and reduce the burden of the analyst. Now, giving an example, there can be an alert. It is a simple message, which is just an information. So it needs to be suppressed. At the same time, if there is any alert which needs to be taken action on, then the RPA is the one which will take a corrective actions on it and take a necessary, remediation step for it. Many organizations, they invest in buying sophisticated software to protect their organization. But the thing is, they fail to take corrective actions at the right time. And I would say over and above that, RPA would be the right solution where they can, convert such information into alerts, and that also 24/7. And getting a right information to a right person is again, the essence of RPA, which will help us. Again, going to the next stage, if there is a, let's say, God forbid, there is a brutal, attack, or let's say the brute force attack on one of the system, you cannot sit on it. It will, from one system, it will obviously navigate to another system, and then it will expose more, threats to an organization. RPA can take a remediated action at the same time, and then it can inform the right person so that whenever he comes in or when he sees the alert saying that okay, the corrective first level action is already been taken, so you are safe. The only thing is you need to now come back and investigate, saying that okay, is there anything else needs to be done to safeguard this thing? So this is where I would say RPA can play a very good role, an important role in securing our cybersecurity framework. Celestine, you want to add something?
Yeah, I would certainly like to add. Rupam and Moise certainly highlighted a lot of interesting challenges to overcome. I could clearly see RPA playing a centerpiece role wherever there is manual activity going on, wherever there is rule-based action that could be taken. That's where it'll be useful for organizations to look at partners who can deliver value by addressing the challenges in a holistic manner, not by piecemeal, just a holistic manner. You define your processes, define where the human handoff would come in, where the system RPA can take over and take actions. As we are rooted into cybersecurity and intelligent automation, we have extensively assessed Giant as a platform for its security, scalability, and features. We were able to see Giant to be aligned well to meet the demands of automation in the cybersecurity space.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your comments. And of course, I'm glad to hear that Giant software capabilities are highly rated by the expert field of cybersec. However, we are well covered in terms of theory. That's what I feel from the very first part of our conversation. But speaking about practice, because I know that many people who are coming to this webinar, they are quite practical thinkers, and most of them are business people who might come with some ideas how to implement RPA in cybersecurity. Now, do you have some kind of cases of real implementation of automation and cybersecurity? Now, and will you be able to share them with us today? Maybe not even the cases itself, but we would be really interested to listen about the real outcome of implementation. So what were the changes, positive changes and positive trends that you were able to notice after those projects completion?
Yes, and we have worked on few of those. Just to highlight one of the implementation that we did, we usually work with enterprise and middle market entities, and the team that we work with there are the CISO, the CISO hierarchy team. that takes care of compliance management or enabling cybersecurity maturity in their organization. So our job was to go there, identify their existing processes, help them streamline their vulnerability management life cycle, uh, put them into the Artemis automation journey, and also handle the areas that I have already spoken about, which includes remediation and configuration changes from RPA with help of RPA. To give you more data on this, they were actually having more than 60,000 vulnerabilities in open state. And with the help of Artemis and RPA automation, they were able to bring that down to a significantly smaller number within 6 months to 1 year's journey. And as I said earlier, it takes typically an organization 6 months to fix even a single vulnerability. So without automation, this is very, very hard to do. So overall, the outcome that we were able to generate for the organization is more than 30 to 40% of faster remediation and 100% automated ticketing and logging capabilities, which help them track their remediation activities without any human involvement. This increases their timely response because it is very important to take cybersecurity decisions quickly, right? A CISO has many cybersecurity, like very important cybersecurity decisions to take in a day-to-day activity, like which vulnerabilities to fix, which configurations to change, which systems are most important systems in their overall environment. With our automation lifecycle management platform and RPA, we gave them the decision-making capability within hours instead of days. So they used to spend days identifying these vulnerabilities, these action items, which were drastically reduced, and their actions were rapidly improving with hour over hour instead of days over days. So that's about the case study from vulnerability management. Moise, please like take over for the incident management part.
Sure, Rupam. So from if we say incident management, as I said before, somebody needs to be there to, monitor what are the incidents which are happening and take the corrective action. It's like, army is standing there and waiting for the attack to happen, and, that is where you need to defend. Now, what are the regular challenges any analyst will have? The first thing is he will be having a shift of maybe 12 hours or 8 hours around the clock. And we as a human, sometimes, we might have a little bit tired. They may be a little bit lazy, or maybe, maybe a little, no mood to work. That can also be there. But the thing is, he needs to do a daily health check for all the solutions which any organization has purchased and which is going to help them. So he needs to do a health check every day. Again, missing out a single health check or maybe a health check of particular solution will also create damage. And let's say if an incident happens, then he will be under pressure to do the investigation, and that has to be again with the accuracy. One small dot which he misses out, and that is where he will get into a wrong direction. Again, this is a time-consuming activity. This is a daily activity which any analyst will do. So again, this is again a human tendency where doing a daily task, same task again and again, gives a little bit of boring activity, and it's very obvious human nature of missing out one or two things. Now, how RPA will able to help? The thing is, you can always schedule, or create a bot where it will check each and every solution's health check and say that, okay, these are your solutions, maybe 10, maybe 20, or whatever is it. This is a complete, health status of each and every solution, and send a report on timely manner. It can be, said on 5 hours or 1 hour or whatever in that case. Now, when it comes to incident, we human will get into pressure because management will come, this is happening, the other guys will come, we are not able to find some resources, or we are not able to find the relevant data what we need. With the help of RPA, we can run some bots and get a relevant data for forensic purpose from a different tools again. And this is again, it comes back with accuracy and in a very short time. Sending out the reports to executive is again, very challenging. You miss out some things, and this is where you get caught with, and you don't want to get into with the wrong hands at the wrong time. So RPA will help you send a particular report in a particular format to a respective people. You also don't want to send networking related or security related documents to some third party. This is again a thread which you are creating by yourself. So this all human errors can be avoided with the help of RPA. Now at the end, if you see from the organization perspective, they are mitigating the human risks where any human could have on a daily basis. Again, the manual work and all that, an organization is avoiding that. Again, getting the whole work done with 100% accuracy on the timely manner, and with this with the I would say with the kind of quality they have approved or they are expecting. This is the kind of delivery an RPA solution will give. Again, taking a corrective actions. Incident management is something like, you get an incident, it's P1 incident, P2 incident, or a normal information. You have to take a corrective action. This all things can be taken care of in a particular organization with the help of RPA. This keeps an organization at ease at 24/7. Thinking that or relaxing on this, with the help of RPA, they can relax and say that, okay, my first level of, incident has been taken care by RPA. And that's where, any business organization, whether it's enterprise level, mid-market, would go for this and will help them to, safeguard their environment as well. So this is what my thoughts are. Over to you again.
Yeah, extending on that, right? What I'm hearing is accuracy, no human fatigue, maybe timely response, resource crunch being managed, are all the things that I hear where RPA could straight away fit in. These are all compelling benefits that RPA could bring in. In my opinion, identifying the right areas of opportunities with a clearly defined ROI should be a paramount interest of anybody who is looking for automation in the cybersecurity space. Right, to achieve such a quick-paced, holistic automation, the way I would suggest is look for a strategic partnership where we have an RPA platform, and then we have an implementation partner like Giant and Amisec, kind of people who can bring in end-to-end consulting and implementation offering in and around cybersecurity and intelligent automation. I'm sure that would prove to be beneficial.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. It was quite insightful. And of course, I'm happy to hear about the successful pairings between the RPA vendors and cybersecurity experts, the same as we are currently having between Giant and Amisec. Now, coming back to the point that I believe many people over the audience, they came a lot for the inspiration. Now, and many of them, since they are attending such a specific technically determined webinars, they're having some upcoming projects in mind for sure. So experts, what would you advise to such a people who are already thinking about starting their RPA journey, about RPA first implementations in the cybersecurity sector? But I'm sure that many of them, they don't know how to start those pilots, to start this first journey. So what would you advise them? What would be your kind advice for this category of our visitors?
Yeah, that's a good place to be, because you have a lot of areas that you can approach your research into. So I would like to suggest taking a holistic approach where you identify your current processes, how the vulnerabilities are managed, how the incidents are managed, how which vendors do you interact with on a day-to-day basis while doing these activities, and if there are any messy manual operational processes that are already running in your organization. Now, out of these vendors, which vendors do not support any kind of API? If you take this holistic approach, you will reach a sort of life cycle where you will identify how your vulnerabilities flow from identification to fixing them, and then you can clearly see where you are missing the key automation phase, which can help you reduce your effort from days to hours. And doing this approach will help you identify the areas clearly where RPA will apply. Uh, and I would like to invite Moise for his thoughts on the incident management part.
Sure, Rupam. Rupam, you have covered the major part of it, but yeah, so I would add a few on top of it. Uh, as I would see from cybersecurity side, or I understand the pain of a cybersecurity analyst, the IR analyst. So I would say first, understand what are the tasks he is doing on daily basis. So he's doing a repetitive task on daily basis of maybe if you say a health check or sending a report. So these are the basic stuff any organization will have a need of. So look for such type of processes, identify such type of processes, what all the things he is doing on daily basis. There might be some SOPs which a management or incident management manager would have defined, saying that okay, these are the alerts if so occurs in a SOC or a NOC or IR department. If such type of thing happens, what should be taken care of. So this SOPs can be converted into bots, and it can also help any organization. So these are a few of the, I would say basic or day-to-day needs of RPA, where, it will really help and reduce the time for any analyst, and it will give him along with him, obviously, it will give an ease to an organization as well. Over to you, Celestine.
Sure. My view on that would be, there is always a tussle between having an API-driven automation versus having RPA in place, right? So my suggestion would be someone is looking at automation, and if there is APIs available, go for it. Have an API-driven automation, and RPA certainly can stand between gaps, right? Wherever you have lack of APIs, or you're going to see a complete delay in building an API for your automation. That's where you would certainly see RPA filling in that scaling capacity, right? So you can certainly look at RPA as a solution there. And again, as I would like to reinforce a specific point, RPA is not a vertical solution. It's a horizontal solution that can bring in benefits across business functions. It's not just a cybersecurity space. It's not just a specific incident management space. Across your business functions, your kind of processes, wherever you see there is repetitive, mundane work, where there is swivel chair operations being done by your teams, that's the right fit for you to look at. And and another thing that I would like to reinforce here is, our partnership with Giant is certainly a leap forward to help our clients achieve such automation potential. The partnership with Giant always, the way we look at it, it really gives us the ability to bring in cost competitive RPA solutions to our customers, where the total cost of ownership is much lesser compared to many other RPA softwares.
Wow, a gentleman. Thank you very much indeed for this input. I truly hope that your words of support would be the true inspiration for many people over here today. Now, frankly speaking, the main goal of this event is to do this kind of final kickoff for many people and businesses who are still thinking about those kind of pilots, those kind of RPA innovation tech experiments, those kind of cybersecurity implementations. So we are here today to help you, to support you in those findings. And of course, as I've promised on the beginning of this webinar, for the ones of you who will stay with us till the very last minute, now me and my colleagues, we prepared special gifts and bonuses today that will help you to start your first automation, to do your first steps towards a robotic process automation. First of all, speaking about our side, Giant RPA vendor, now we provided special gifts for you, for the participants of the webinar. Since you will be able to use our software solution absolutely free of charge for 1 month's usage. Now you can see somewhere over here a green button, download Giant Studio, so don't hesitate to do it. And please kindly note that this is absolutely free of charge for all of the webinar participants. So please feel free to try this solution to play a little bit in the sandbox. Of course, this gift would be more dedicated to the technical half now of our participants today. And frankly speaking, what I've noticed during the webinar that some of you already downloaded our studio during our conversation. So don't worry, even if you will not have time to do it right away. Now we will be sending follow-ups to all of the webinar participants with some useful tips, so you can easily reply to us, I want bonus, and we will share this software free of charge access with you anyways upon request as well. So this is one side of the bonus from our side, but I also know that now our experts from Amisec, they also prepared something special for you today.
Thanks for bringing that point. Yeah, when you look at where to start, right, that's where the most troublesome question needs to be answered from intelligent automation perspective and any other process automation perspective. So what we are offering here is a week of process audit. You can bring in any of your business functions. We will help you audit your processes and then look at where there is potential for you to apply intelligent automation. And on the cybersecurity side, specifically on the vulnerability testing, we would be able to offer a month free of SaaS, the Atomis platform, either on-premise or on cloud for you to test. And the same way, we have our incident management expert services for up to 2 hours as an advisory that we could give.
Excellent. Thank you very much for this. And I'm sure that many of our participants, they will be curious about getting those bonuses. I see that we already have a couple of requests for providing the links to the bonuses. No worries, dear participants, you will receive all of the information right after the webinar. We will send you special follow-ups with all of the information included. Right away, I see that we're having just a few minutes left. Now, it was a very busy and productive panel session, but still, we promise to you that we are leaving just a couple of minutes at the end for the Q&A panel session with our experts. So if you have some questions to the expert side now of our rounds e-table today, please feel free to ask your questions in comments. And also, if you're having some questions to the vendor, to Giant, you can also ask me about something which is interesting to you related to the RPA field. And I see that we're having the first one. Can RPA deploy security controls when vulnerabilities are discovered? So, gentlemen, who would you like to answer the first question from the public?
Okay, so
yeah, Moise,
I will take.
Take
okay,
it.
so yeah, so I will take that question. So obviously, RPA will be a very good fit for this whenever any vulnerabilities are discovered in an organization. This is, I would say, this is one of the very good question we are getting today. As soon as the vulnerabilities are get, we need to remediate it. How to remediate, and this is where RPA will fit in and taking a perfect, or I would say, remediation or accuracy, an action with accuracy. So this is where I would say RPA will be a good fit here.
Thank you very much, Moise. Dear audience, do we have more questions to the experts? I think we have time for a couple of questions maximum. You are welcome. You are welcome, Tom. Thank you very much for asking. So we are waiting just a few last minutes for more questions from the audience if we have some. Now, by the way, since we have time, I will share that I am actually very much obsessed with the brain research, and what I recently read an article about audiences who are less eager to ask the question if this is an online format. So on average, there is a 7 seconds that the brain usually uses to address some questions to the public. Now, and if we're having the online panel, you can double it, multiply it by 2. And if the person is introverted, you can multiply it by even 2 more times. However, there is also a very hard ethical question. Now, if your teacher or your boss, of course, we're not your teachers today, now we're just people who are sharing some business and technical experience, but if your teacher or your boss is asking you, now at the end of the lecture or the panel session, do you have any questions? So am I obliged to have this question, or do I have a right to say that everything is clear to me? So how do you think, dear attendees? This is also an interesting psychological part of this. Okay, I see that we're having more questions from the audience. Thank you very much for this. How can I start an entry-level career in RPA in cybersecurity? Colleagues, I might also answer this question partly, if you don't mind. Now, since we're having internships which are open all the time at Giant, both in technical and RPA departments. So please don't hesitate to approach us now after this session via email, or you can find me personally on LinkedIn and apply for internship at Giant. Now, by the way, experts, do you have any career opportunities at Amisec as well? So maybe today we will find new colleagues accidentally.
I mean, if I may take that a little bit more, starting an entry-level career in RPA, right, and cybersecurity, right. So I would suggest that start learning a product, understanding the differences between a traditional automation versus the new RPA type of automation is essential, right. You should be able to compare and contrast and tell where I should use an RPA versus where I should use a traditional automation versus even workflow for that matters. So yeah, that could be a good place to start learning the differences.
Thank you very much, Celestine.
And just to add, we also have internship opportunities in our sister companies, as well as we can see the feasibility in Amisec. So please feel free to reach out, and our email IDs will be shared. So we will look forward to your interests.
Thank you very much, Rupam. So today we're providing knowledge on the workplaces. That's the great webinar indeed. Audience, do we have more questions? We're waiting just for the final minute for the latest questions. You are welcome. I see that we're already out of time with the webinar, so we are accepting the question from the public. Of course, now we are very open to continue this communication and any discussion related to cybersecurity and innovation tech right after the webinar. Please don't hesitate to approach me and our experts outside of this event via LinkedIn, via email, because we will be sending some follow-up. So we are usually very open to communicate with the ones who are very interested in innovation tech. Yet I see that we do not have any more questions currently. So thank you very much. We are actually even out of time. So it was a busy and a very interesting panel session. So I would like to thank all of our experts taking part in the webinar today. Thank you, Celestine. Thank you, Rupam. Thank you, Moise. It was a pleasure to speak to you today. So hopefully this is not the last panel session, not the last event which we're making together. And thank you very much, dear participants, for joining us today, for taking part in this cybersecurity and robotic process automation event. We would like to wish you the lovely day ahead. We're staying in touch. Thank you very much for being with us. Cheers.
Thank you for having us. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you for having us and listening to us. Thank you very much. Have a good day.